Today's session is dialog work process. Till now we have discussed about the previous, like a recap, the introduction, the 3-layer architecture, then work process introduction. So work process are 7 types. We have compared these workers or work process with hotel workers. So let's discuss about the dialog work process. Let's discuss about dialog work process. Dialog we have compared with the wait. Just observe carefully how the waiter will work in the hotel. First point. He is the first work process inside the hotel. When you went inside, after gateway, after message server, I will agree. But dispatcher will assign the free dialog to the user request. The first work process is dialog. The first work process meaning is dispatcher will allocate the dialog work process inside the hotel first. When you are entering into the hotel, you need a free dialog. To user request, UR means user request. To user request, get processed or get executed. Free dialog is needed. Free dialog work process is needed. The first work process is dialog, then to execute, to get processed, free dialog is needed. It's a mandate. To user request, get processed. Then coming to the point number, is an interactive work process. Interactive work process is a interactive work process. At a time, he will work for 5 to 10 users. Just assume your hotel. Just assume your hotel. Inside the hotel, the waiter will work for you and waiter will work for someone else also. At a time, he will take the order from you. At a time, the side adjacent table is there. He will take the order from you. He will bring the food for you, and the same time, he will bring something else from the other table guys. Like at a time, he will work for the multiple users. Just assume the updater, when writing one table data, he can't write another table data at a time, one after one. But dialog is not like that. At a time, he will work for the multiple users. When cook is preparing a food for one person, one user request, one customer, he can't prepare the food for another. One by one. He should go by one. Those meaning is, those are dedicated work process, but dialog work process is non-dedicated work process. It's a non-dedicated work process. The next point is multiplexing work process. Multiplexing work process. Multiplexing means at a time multiple users. Non-dedicated means you don't work for the one user at a time. Its meaning is both same points. And dialog work process having a time limit work process. Anyone got the time limit error, timeout error on the bank pages or IRCT pages anytime? Anyone faced that error? Anyone is faced with that error?
Yes.
Yeah. Because of dialog work process is doing that work, only because of that reason you got that error. See here, you need to understand dialog for the interactive sessions. Example, background will handle the non-interactive long running sessions. Because dialog work process having a time limit, because of this parameter. So many people faced the issue with timeout on the so many servers. Only the reason is the server side, the dialog work process will keep this parameter value. The maintained value will work on that work process. The maximum. Sir, why SAP is recommending kept timeout for the dialog? Why there is no timeout for the other work process? Why dialog is special? So I already told you. To get a user request is processed. Free dialog is needed. Free dialog is needed to log in also. To log in also. Someone wants to log in into the application server. Someone wants to enter into the hotel. I'm going to the hotel. First, I need a free waiter. Without the waiter, I cannot enter into the hotel also. Even the tables are free. If I went inside and I took some table example. But dialog is needed, right? To take the order. Without dialog, how my request is processed? Okay, I need a food. The cook will prepare the food. But dialog is needed in between. He is interactive. He will interact with the user request, users, customers. Okay. So, whatever the request, very important point. The request first processed by dialog. Request first processed by dialog. Then updated to respective temp tables of the work process. What he will do? For example, the food preparation is the cook work, but even though dialog will take the order, dialog will go and give the same request to the cook. The updater will update the database. He will keep on write table number 10. This is the things we have given. Table number 20. These are the things we have given. But is that updater will come to you and he will ask whatever you have taken, or someone will give these updates to the updater? Question I'm asking. Updater will come to you and he will take the things what you consumed, or someone else will give this data to the updater.
Someone else will give the
Who
updater,
is
will
that?
not come to us.
Who is that?
Monica.
No. Who is that person inside the hotel? I'm asking.
It's dialog.
Exactly. Waiter, dialog. See, even the updater work also first processed by the dialog, then updated with the respective temp tables of the work process. Respective work process temp tables. Anyway, you can read. Okay. And minimum 2 dialogues are required. At least 2 dialogues. Minimum to minimum 2 dialogues required. For instance. But for an ideal instance, for example, you just configure 2 dialogues. You have 100 cooks, 10 updaters, 10 printers, everything you have multiple, but you have only just 2 dialogues. Will the 2 dialogues are sufficient to handle the load? 2 waiters can serve all the users?
No.
No. That's the reason for an ideal instance, Dialogue should be greater than non-dialogue. Sir, what is dialogue? What is non-dialogue? D for dialogue, all the remaining work process is a non-dialogue. I will give you a small count, rough count for 100 work process. For example, you have a 100 work process sum equal to 100. You have 100 work process, for example. For the dialogues, you have minimum 60, more than enough. Updater just 2 is enough. NQ 1 is enough. Backgrounds some 34. Message server is 1 enough. Gateway 1 enough. Spool 1 enough. The count is correct. 4. Yeah, correct. That's it. This will be the count. See, for 100 work process, the rough count I have given as per the real time. See, the dialogues will be more and more. Even in the hotel also, you can see the more waiters are needed to handle the customers. Comparing with other. One printer is enough to give all the bills. You don't need to keep 10 printers, 100 printers. Okay. One load balancer. He will stand in front of the hotel. One security person. One log provider NQ. 2 updaters. He will update the data into the database. But you need a multiple dialogues. For ideal instance, we need a more dialogues. We need a more and more dialogues. Minimum 2 is required. This number is configured based on the parameter. You can change this parameter. You can play with the number. RDISP /WP100.
Can you repeat the 11th point?
For ideal instance, dialogue should be more than the all non-dialogues, some of the non-dialogues. Why? Because dialogues having a more responsibility, more works, they're comparing with other workers. He has to handle all the users. Even though the updater work also, dialogue will involve. Even the background work process work also, dialogue. To whom you will ask the print? After finished your dinner, to whom you will ask the print? Bill.
Spool.
Spool. How many persons spool? How many persons go with spool?
1.
Okay. Any other answers? Satyapriya?
Spool, sir.
Okay. Satyapriya also spool. Very good. I say dialogue. But if I completed my dinner in the hotel, in the restaurant, I will ask the printer to the dialogue. Bhaiya, please bring the bill. I don't go for the printer. Why should I go? Who will bring the print? To whom you will ask the print?
Waiter.
Correct. Printer will print. That's the job by the spool work process. But in between, say, dialogue is involved. To bring the lock, dialogue is involved. Bhaiya, please lock that table. My friends are coming. To whom you will ask that lock? Dialogue. But lock provider is different person. Dialogue will go and bring that lock. The lock provider is in. Updater will update the data into the database. But after dialogue says, dialogue is involved. Cook will prepare the food. But who will go and give the orders to the cook? You will go? Will you go?
Waiter. Dialogue.
That is the reason dialogues are more needed for a ideal instance. Sir, I will keep less dialogues. Will it my application is not runs? Your application will run, but it's not ideal instance. Okay? RDISP WP underscore number underscore dialogue. As per our example, this number is 60. So here I have mentioned 60, right? So 60 dialogues we have in the application. This will decide the number of dialogue work process. parameter to configure for number of dialogues. You can increase, you can decrease, but it is not easy to increase, decrease. If you configured one dialog work process, you need to pay the money. You need to give the salary. It is not easy. The same way from the server, each work process, whether it is dialog or non-dialog, each work process need 75 to 300 MB of RAM. It will consume the RAM from the server. Whether you will use, whether you are not using, dialog will take the RAM. That's it. Any work process will take the RAM. So it's not easy, whatever the number you want. Even the 600 is the maximum work process limit. Max limit. Even the max limit is 600. In the real time, I saw mostly the people will use 100, 120 work process max. Because of it's supposed to provide the RAM to configure the multiple work process. So each work process need a RAM. So in the SAP system, we have a concept called T codes. I will tell you what is the T code. Okay. Before mentioning the T codes, anyone, can you help me how to change my Facebook password? Actually, I log in, but I just want to change my password. Can you help me how? Anyone, please? Who knows the WhatsApp best? Better? How to change my no one knows? No one is using Facebook? How to change my Facebook password?
Sir, by clicking the setting option.
Very good. Then after? After?
Maybe personal settings, sir.
Okay, then?
Then there is a option named password.
Password, change password.
Change password.
Give the old password, give the new password.
New
Again,
password, then confirm password.
Correct. So I will give you a very easy thing. Just you are already logged in the Facebook, right? In the search button, search box is there, right? Just type PASS, enter. You will get the password screen there. Give the old and new, which is easy. Which is easy. You have the search box, right? In the search box, you need to type PASS, enter. You directly goes to the password change screen. My way is easy or your way?
Your way.
Remember the navigation is easy or the shortcut is easy?
Shortcut, sir.
Definitely shortcut is the same way. In the SAP level, SAP given a lot of shortcuts to work. This is the SAP GUI software basis to the user. I will give you the server details, everything for the practice after the payments. See, SM50. We can see our work process. See, total number of work processes 13 in this test server. How many dialogues total?
7.
Updates 1. One more update is there. Total 2. How many spools? 1. Backgrounds 3. Can you see? This is the shortcut. You have the navigations for everything like this. You can go with the navigations. Okay. But SAP given a shortcuts to work. One more. SM51. You can see your application server is active or not. It's active. Your application is running fine. Here we will run the T-code. See, all these are the transactions. So SAP given a shortcut to work, that's called the transaction code. 14 point SM50 SM66. These are the two transactions to monitor the work process, especially dialog work process. To monitor work process. We have SM50 and SM66. Clear? So in that screen, you can administrate your SM50. You can administrate your work process as part of the work. How we will use these transaction codes, when we will use, what kind of tickets we will get, what options we need to use as per the ticket, everything I will teach you in the further classes. Okay. In this transaction, we will monitor work process statuses. Based on the status, I can understand whether my work process is good or not. Based on the WhatsApp status, I can say where you are, what you are doing. The same way. The statuses are waiting status, means it's waiting for the work. Running status, it's working something. It's working for some user. On hold, someone is holded. Error status, some other status. It is based on this status, and this status we will monitor from this transaction as part of our work process monitoring. See, work process status, waiting. This work process is running. Number 3. How much response time we have received? The response time is 625 milliseconds. What is the average response time? What is the average response time? Okay, I don't want to club. So these statuses we will monitor from the SAP. The same way, SAP given some tools also. The tools are SAP MMC, DPMon. In future, I will teach you these tools to monitor work process, to administrate and to monitor the work process. We have tools, these two, and we have the transactions, these two, to monitor and administrate. And administrate also. We are the administrators, right? To administrate. We have 2 tools, 2 transaction codes given by the SAP. This is about the dialog work process. Just architecture I will show you once again. See, this is the SAP GUI where I have login. I'm running SM50 transaction. This enter will create a user request. The user request is went to the application server. All these things are happened. Dispatcher, wait queue, FIFO, the work process is allocated. Which work process? Which work process?
Dialog work process.
Very good. Highest free dialog work process. Most free dialog work. Authorization check, interpretation check. I don't know where I got the response from the buffer or from the database. But see now, after running the, once again for you, I will run. Running SM50. See, what are the fraction of seconds it ran? In this time, all these things are happening. Created, dispatcher, blah, 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 blah. We got the response back. We got the response back. In how much time? See here. What's the time? What is the response time? Actually, the average response time is 600 milliseconds. Average. The maximum allowed is anyone? We are not going through the recordings. 2000 milliseconds is maximum allowed. Max. So this is average. Clear? Any questions? So, see here, which work process is highest free? Which work process is highest free?
Dialog.
Dialog work process.
Dialog 1. How you were telling dialog 1 is working? Working for me? How this dialog 1 only working? How you can tell? How you can decide? Based on work process status. The remaining all work process in the waiting status. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Only dialog 1 is running. See, this time once again we will run SM50. SM50. This time which work process?
4.
4. Based on the status we are telling. See, the basis 2 is the user which I'm using. So my user is basis 2. Like this, based on the status we will monitor. The same way we will use these tools also. In future, I will teach you the tools. Okay, this is about dialog work process.